Do I need to be fun? I also posted this to r/teachers, but as this sub tends to be more positive I thought I'd post here as well. Positive as possible responses please. I'm a novice teacher. Mostly just para and sub. Just got a long-term position. Do lessons need to be fun? This is something that a lot of admin, curriculum writers, and popular teachers say. I'm not a fun person. I'm not upbeat. But I am friendly and forthright. I've tried, but then I get the feedback that I'm condescending or too easy. Most kids seem to work well with me. But I lose those kids who walk into class ready to disengage. Is this enough? Or have I shot thousands of dollars down the drain because I can't be fun? Lesson need to be engaging and relatable. I teach 8th grade math and that can be hard. I try to vary the activities. So that it's not redundant. Agreed. I think too many people want to equate fun and engaging. They are not synonymous. Kids will pick up on your vibe right away. If you are not a fun person they will sense it and your lessons will feel forced, which will backfire. Figure out how to keep them engaged and you will be fine. To add, if you focus on planning fun, they may miss the point of the lesson. You need to be genuine. If your lessons are straightforward, clear, and relatable, you're in a good place. In your case, I wouldn't throw a ton of energy into developing fun into your lessons. That said, if you're real with your kids, they'll get it. I know I'm kinda boring. Sorry, all. To make up for the pain I've caused you, I worked all night to make a funny problem to solve and hid it in the homework. When you do the problem, please roast me. Kids know the good teachers. The teacher that rolls with it gets more cred than the teacher that demands that they just do the work. Try to find humor during class. Break from a lesson once in a while for a human moment. That's appreciated far more than planned fun. I was teaching a new math lesson once, because who doesn't love newly adopted curriculum, and just got lost. Anybody else getting this because I have no idea what I'm doing right now? They didn't. I didn't. We went out to recess and came back. The whole tone changed for the better for the rest of the year. Right before I leaped into the main lesson, I'd sometimes tell my class, before we begin, I have something very important to show you. And it would just be a picture of my chickens. Or a video of a peacock hopping on a fence. Or any number of different nonsense things from my life. They appreciated hearing about it and asking questions. I often had to stop after a few minutes or it would dominate the whole lesson time. Yes and no. When students think your class is fun, they will often be more engaged. But your idea of fun and a student's idea of fun can be very different. You may be thinking that the fun has to be way more exciting than it needs to be. I feel like this is because students spend a lot of time sitting in their seats doing worksheets, etc. In my experience, students get very excited about small perks or different ways of working. Here are some things that my 6th graders think are fun that are pretty manageable and don't require you to be a different person. Also, some of these help with classroom management and culture. I aim to do at least one fun thing per class and tell the students about it at the beginning of class so that they have something to look forward to. Partner work, especially if you let them choose where to sit and who to work with. Independent work time on a meaningful assignment does not necessarily have to be a fun assignment, and bonus points if you let them listen to their own music. Daily attendance questions to answer, I post these on the board, and they can be totally random, like pancakes or waffles. Task cards, they really like it when I post them around the room and they have to move around the room to answer the questions. Hands-on activities, even just things like cut and paste so they're doing something different. Brain breaks, my kids love when I set one of these race timers for 1 or 2 minutes. They all choose who they think will win, or sometimes we name them after students in our class. During the timer students can get up, move around, and talk, and once the timer is done, it's back to work. Just some ideas for you. You will be surprised by how much kids will buy in when they see you are trying to make things interesting for them. Best of luck. If you can't be fun, be relevant. Fun is just one way to engage, but there are plenty of ways to trigger an interest. The best teachers aren't just fun. I've had miserable teachers who were trying to be fun. Figure out your own strength, and hey, if it means doing something different than everyone else, that's certainly going to drive engagement. Be real with your kids. That's way more important than anything else. Treat them as tiny independent humans and don't filter yourself unless you have to. No. A lot of my most successful lessons this year were straightforward guided notes, read alouds with discussion/checks for understanding. Model a writing skill and then practice it, etc. I try to do some more fun/creative lessons, but generally, I keep things simple. Real talk, many of the kids don't want to be there. They have to be. If you don't make it fun for them, they're out. Even if you make it fun. They'll still complain, but it will be better than if it wasn't fun. Should it be this way? No. But this is the reality. You don't need to be fun. As long as your lessons are relatable and engaging. However, if you are getting feedback that you are coming off and condescending, you might want to do some reflection on what it is that's giving off that message. No one wants to feel talked down to. Even if not intentional. This is so key about condescension. I've reflected on this topic throughout my lifetime, but especially since teaching. I know that I can sound unintentionally condescending when I am maxed out, cognitively and emotionally exhausted. Small things seem like big inconveniences and I'm communicating this is below my pay grade and resentment. I'm not proud. But I had to identify those kinds of instances to address where I needed better systems in place, mainly. How can I set up my room and procedures to mitigate the need for my students to need me? I want them to be independent because I just don't have the bandwidth some teachers/people do. When I'm at the end of my bandwidth, I lose patience and get condescending. Finding ways to offload cognitive load through good procedures and systems has been key for me to stop being condescending to my students who need to think aloud and need reassurance for their process or feel like they need permission for everything for whatever reason, miss. Can I put the island sideways on the paper? If I'm overwhelmed I might say any number of things to that but in a tone with an attitude. If I have bandwidth, I can neutrally coach the student what steps to take to answer their question and that often results in them realizing they didn't need me after all, which is the goal. Figuring out when and why I have been condescending and trying to change that absolutely improved the learning environment. The classroom culture, and my interactions with students 100%. My students say I'm the strict but fun teacher. This means that if the students are following expectations, we will have a good time with a brain break before the next lesson. If they are not, we need to buckle down and work. Do I plan fun lessons? No, I roll with the flow. If they find something interesting and ask a question that's a little off topic, I roll with it. I make a big show of how I don't know the answer, so we look it up together. Another thing I do at the start of each new period, different students for different periods, is talk about what's in my Wayback Box. I have a clear plexiglass box for displaying a basketball. Once or twice a week. I bring something that is old and put it in the box. I raid my parents' house for old things. For instance, a 1950s drafting set. I ask them what they think it is, and then I take it out to show them how it's used or we watch a short video about it. I've used a cassette tape and a VHS tape, etc. If it's something I don't think they can break, I let them hold it or try it. I have wonderful pictures of my students using an old typewriter for their lesson. And then, it got better. Kids started asking if they could bring old stuff to put in the box. I say, absolutely. You would not believe the emails from parents that I got that were thanking me. They said the conversations that they had with their kids and going through their attics looking for old things with them were amazing. And the kiddo who brings an object has to describe to their class what it is and does, and I do it for the other classes, bonus. Public speaking practice. So, fun and interesting can be synonymous. You have gotten great advice here. I would add that the best teachers are the ones who absolutely love their subject matter. I'm not a comedian, but I love children's literature, I love phonics, and I think the minutiae of learning to read is fascinating. I'm an elementary reading specialist. I tell the kids, I love vowels. I'm obsessed with them. Really, who can love vowels, or phonics? But I love for my students to know about them and that comes across. My own kids' favorite teachers have all been the most passionate about the subject, not the most fun. I got into an argument about this with my religious education co-teacher last year. She believes you're only a good teacher if you're fun, extroverted, and speak in a higher-pitched voice. That is not my personality at all. I'm an introvert, and I prefer a classroom on the quieter side. I teach in discussion-based way, even with younger children. That doesn't mean we can't have fun. But loud and bright doesn't work for me most of the time. My lessons fall short when I try to teach in a way that doesn't feel natural. At the end of the day, the measure of how I'm doing is their response to the material, not how much they like me, or how much their parents like me. Or the volume of my voice. So no, I don't think you have to be fun if that doesn't feel right to you. Asterisk this class is a mix of 1st through 3rd grade students.